try. No hell below us, above us only sky.
Welcome to Volunteers for Israel Educates. Today is episode 202. It's November 16th. This session is recorded, it is captioned, and it's supposedly streamed on YouTube, although I'm not certain it's working. For those folks who are new to us, since this is the 202nd episode, there are copies of most of the prior episodes available on YouTube, and there is a sophisticated index available to you to help you access those episodes. And the way you get at that index is type in tinyurl.com/VFI educates number 2. And that index will allow you to research all of the prior episodes, including the last couple of weeks, which have been on this very subject. I'm going to ask Alana to bring us up to date on some VFI things. I'm going to ask Julia to introduce our guest speaker this evening. And after all the speaking takes place, we will go through the questions and answers. Thank you so much for joining with us today. Alana?
Sure. There's not too many updates from Volunteers for Israel. As you know, we're getting inundated with calls of people who want to go ahead and volunteer. Many of the beds that people usually sleep in are taken because they have so many soldiers who've been called up to fight. So there were fewer than they were accepting the normal, and more people who want to do it. But we just received notice, and Bev, let me know if you have an answer to this question. We received notice that there's this new December date that from the 10th to the 14th that is open, that has spots for volunteers. We believe that we can get them all processed if you start now, if you're interested in that week, in time. But Bev, if you know anything, do you think that's possible?
It is possible, but they'd have to get their application in very quickly and, of course, try to get a flight. And remember, only El Al.
Right.
You're going to see United listed, but they're not flying to Israel.
Okay, so if you want to do it, we know we've been saying not till January, but it looks like this week of December 10th through 14th has opened up. If you want to do it, get your everything in now and check the flights to see if you can get a flight on El Al.
What is that front door?
If you could mute yourselves if you are not talking. Okay. Other than that, if you're interested in volunteering, we don't just need you now, but we need you once this war is hopefully over, sooner rather than later, to help get the bases back in shape. So don't feel like if you can't come now that you can't come and help, because they'll need you to help afterwards just as much. If anyone has any questions about it, please let me know. Steve, there was something I was supposed to mention, and I told you I might forget and to remind me, and now I don't even remember what you're supposed to remind me of. Yeah, now you're muted. I think it's important.
Perhaps your recent experience.
Oh, I don't want to take up Amit's time. I'll tell them after it. I just had an anti-Semitic incident occur where now my partner has to move to another location. But no, there was something else you wanted me to bring up. I will try to think of it later. All right. So go ahead, Julia. Wherever you want.
Okay.
I'm going to mute everyone else. Okay.
So, hello, everybody. Thank you.
Julia, unmute yourself.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for coming. And I am happy to have Amit here with us. Actually, I was hoping we will have him as a guest at the previous incarnation of BFI Educate during COVID, because he was very much involved with all sorts of virtual tours, but it just didn't happen. So, I'm happy to welcome him here. He is a colleague of mine. He's a wonderful tour guide for many years. The circumstances are tragic. As you all know, he was participating along with his friends at the Nova Music Festival near Reim, a festival which became a massacre. And now he is involved in that project he launched of interviews and lectures and presentations about what happened, to let the world know, and also to help raise funds for orphaned girls of his friends whom they went to the festival together. They were supposed to come back together, and he was the one to come back. So he has this deep involvement and obligation to tell the story and help the orphans. So you already have the link for donations at the chat. I will deeply appreciate it if you support his project and support the orphan girls. And Amit, thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing. That's me harvesting olives today. This is my volunteering today. And that's it. I will mute myself. And Amit, please talk to us.
All right. Good evening from Israel. I hope you're all safe and well. I'm broadcasting now from Hod HaSharon, which is a town in central Israel. I'm actually living in Holon, which is more highly targeted. I think I'll switch to a different camera. So today I will be sharing with you my own experience at the music festival, which I have attended on October 7th, and it will be escorted with a presentation, and I hope you will all learn about what happened on that morning and the following hours. Luckily enough, me personally, I survived. I was not even injured, not physically injured at least. But the injuries I carry, I think it's nothing that I can be healed from. So let me start with sharing my screen. During the presentation, I will play some videos. So I've adjusted the volume to not the minimum, but should be something that would be reasonable. If it's too loud on your end, so I will just give you a heads up and lower the video in advance, and then you can turn the volume up if you cannot hear anything. But the volume is important on the videos that I'm going to play because it's mostly the sound and not much of the sound plays a great part. So just generally speaking, this is Israel. I'm presuming you know enough about the geography. Give me some notes. If not, I would be happy to. I can share just a bit about the geography as well, but I think we can skip that part. So that's Israel. We'll focus now just a bit about the Gaza Strip. I will be generally going over the border between Israel and Gaza. So that's also quite approximate. But the red line I'm now drawing is the border between Israel and Gaza. The pink line is the border between Gaza and Egypt. Some people do not know that Egypt has a border with Gaza, and that is also an option for Gazans to move into Egypt if Egypt is allowing that, and the same for equipment, merchandise, and whatever is necessary for Gaza to survive. The territory of Gaza is approximately 140 square miles. Population estimated by 2.1 million. Gaza was occupied by Egypt at the end of the Independence War, 1948-1949, and was then liberated by Israel at 1967 war. And Israel had completely withdrawn from the Gaza Strip in 2004, while the Hamas, which is a terrorist organization, took over the Gaza territory from the PA, the Palestinian Authority, which was the entity that was supposed to rule over the Gaza Strip. And since then, Hamas had been an aggressor to Israel. In almost 20 years' time that passed, we had, as you probably know, several violent engagements with Gaza since they were launching rockets, and first on the closer territory, which is the next to be discussed, and that will be the Gaza envelope. So I'm just shifting a bit for you to see the Gaza envelope, which is mostly being targeted by Hamas in the recent 20 years, but then Hamas reached to longer distance, and basically launching rockets against, I think, 50% of Israel can be targeted by Hamas. The population in the Gaza envelope is approximately 70,000 in 57 different communities. We have small towns like Sderot and Netivot and Ofakim, but most of the territory are rural environments. Maybe you can call it gated communities like a kibbutzim that I will mention a few in my own story. I just want to give you quick views of what it's like, what's the atmosphere like, or at least how the territory looks like. This is the Gaza envelope. After the first rains, the place becomes very green, very lush. The natural rainfall here is
עמית, אנחנו לא שומעים אותך.
Yeah, I think he's frozen. He's frozen.
This
Yeah,
is not uncommon coming from Israel, the freezing. Let's give him a couple of seconds. It'll probably recapture. For those of us,
he's gone.
Yes, I'm on again. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened.
yeah, it froze. No
Yeah,
problem.
have to share your screen again.
Yeah, I was kicked out and I'm in again, so I'll just reshare my screen. I believe I was cut off by saying that the Gaza envelope is a territory that is also a touristic attraction, mostly for Israelis, and mostly during the end of January and then February to engage with a beautiful landscape. Now we can see some orchards. It's hard to tell which are those for, but they basically can grow anything with the irrigation technologies that us Israelis have developed in the territory. But what I need you to understand is that it's mostly a flat territory. So there are no hills or mountains or much to hide at when you are escaping and making a run for your life. This is a view from the largest stream in the Gaza envelope. This is the Besor stream, which is directly in the center of the view. Although it's not streaming annually, it is flash floods that makes this area more lush. And basically the soil here, the type of soil is super healthy for any type of plants or anything that we can think of. So this is just the view of how the territory looks like, and now I will focus on my story. So let me just okay. Gaza is on the left side. It's the central part of Gaza, just below the city of Gaza. And the festival took part here, where we see the Nova Music Festival at Reim. The distance is miles would be too difficult for me, but we are about say 120 kilometers away from central Israel, from Holon, where I live, which is just by Tel Aviv. So that's the distance from Tel Aviv to the music festival. The music festival took part in a place called Reim. So this is Mefalsim. The music festival took part in a place called Reim, which is what I'd like to show you next. Basically, this is how the place would be like during the winter time. Nowadays, we are at the end of we're already past the end of summer. We are in the fall. But mostly it is not as lush as you see right now. But the red flowers here are the main attractions for Israelis to come and enjoy the beautiful landscape. Those are the anemones, and people come here in masses to this specific forest, which was this forest was planted by the JNF. We have mostly eucalyptus trees here, and that is the landscape, and this is the territory, more or less the environment where the festival took part. I will move now to show you a video from the festival, maybe just before I'd arrived to the festival at around 1:30 a.m. I was the driver. 3 friends had joined me. I'm married. I have 3 daughters, 10, 8, and 5 years old. 3 of my friends are in the same age of myself, 40 years, but they are all bachelors. So none of them is married, none of them has children, and that would be important, I think, for part of the story at least. We arrived at night. The friends that we've expected to join us were supposed to arrive at 6:30 a.m. more or less. They've headed out from the same town where I live, in Holon. And it was Adir, Shiraz, and Celine we were expecting. Adir and Shiraz are married, and Celine was also married. They're all parents, and they were supposed to join us later that morning. So we arrived at night, and we've put up our tent. It's a festival with a camping zone, so we were really excited for them to join us. And now, so if the sound is too loud, please turn the volume down to your end. I think I would skip most of the
Amit,
video here. Yes.
Amit, if the sound is not too loud, the only issue is we can't really hear you above the sound if you want to talk through.
Yeah. So I will not be speaking over the sound.
Okay.
I will fast forward the video.
Okay.
The
But the sound is not too loud, so it's okay.
Okay, I will skip the video to the part where you would see the dance floor, you would see people are dancing. In some point, the video would start to be shaky because this is me holding my phone and I'm dancing as well. I'm sorry if you're not a fan of this music style, but this is why we are celebrating. This is the reason we went there. We love this music, me and my friends. I'm going to festivals like that in the recent 20 years now, so yeah, so I will fast forward possibly to minute 3, and then you will see the dance floor. The sound here is important because the music will pause in few seconds of the video. Okay, I'm already, took me maybe 5 seconds to understand what is happening. Music stopped. We hear cracking sounds from far away. First thought was possibly those are fireworks. Makes no sense. It's already sunrise time, and fireworks are not really a thing in the psychedelic trance festivals like the one that I've attended. So I've just said on the video, Gaza, like I understand it's coming from Gaza. And there is a lot of adrenaline in the video, but there is also a lot of confusion. You would see people that are not really getting what is happening. And you will see me showing my friend, Alon. He wears a hat and blue sunglasses. And he will escort me, like he would be with me. He was one of the 3 that came with me to the festival. The other 2 were elsewhere on the territory of the festival, but we will meet them later. So I will just resume the video.
Gaza. עזה אחי, עזה יירוטים אחי, יש יירוטים, מלחמה. אתה מגונן עליי, אחי, יהיה בסדר. יהיה בסדר, אחי, הכל בסדר.
All right, real quick. We are being told by the security in the festival to lie on the ground. They just repeat it like a mantra. "תשכב על הרצפה." Lie on the ground, lie on the ground, lie on the ground. And we do what we had learned in the recent 20 years since we are targeted by missiles from Gaza, by Hamas, to lie on the ground, to cover the head when there is no place to hide it. Please understand, this is it's a natural park, it's a forest with not too many trees. The only possible place to hide by were trees and food trucks that serve the festival, but definitely they would not be enough for over 3,000 attendees of this music event. So I'm resuming the video again.
מה לא? תשכבי. תשכבי, 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 תשכבי.
בורח לי פיפי.
בסדר, תעשי.
תגידו לי סתם.
תשכבי על הרצפה. תשכבי על הרצפה, תגונני על הראש.
לא, באמת.
אנחנו איתך, הכל טוב. תשכבי על הרצפה, אחות.
אני מפחדת רגע.
תשכבי על הרצפה.
אני באמת מפחדת.
שימי ידיים על הראש.
אני בהתקף לב נראה לי.
אז לא, הכל טוב. תעזבי את הטלפון.
אני צריכה למצוא את חברה שלי, אני לבד פה כבר שעתיים.
בואי, 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 בואי. שימי ראש על הרצפה.
אני מפחדת.
אין מה לפחד, תרגי. רגע, הכל טוב.
אימא'לה.
בוא. מה זה יעזור לי העץ, אחי? זה לא טבע. העץ לא...
זה הטבע, הטבע השומר.
איזה טבע שומר? בוא נעוף מפה.
עמית, לא לפה, עמית.
All right, so what we've just saw is the orders of the security to get up on our feet and to evacuate the perimeter. The festival perimeter was surrounded with fences. It was very well secured. I felt very secured over there. I didn't worry about the distance from Gaza. I believe that most attendees didn't even know how close they are to Gaza. I knew because I'm a tour guide. I better know my country. Yeah, I'm gonna share just a quick another 30 seconds video where as we are hiding next to a food truck. Not much is happening over there, but you can learn about the panic / being very numb towards what is happening because people were very, very confused.
יואו! אבל זה לא כאלה שקרובים אלינו בכלל. זה לא קרוב אלינו. מה אלון, איך אתה? מה בוא, לאיפה?
Okay, now starts another not a run, but we are actually, me and Alon, my friend who is next to me, we've decided to go back to the tent and to make a decision. We've arrived to our camping area, which is all in a very close walking distance. The two other friends, Osher and another Alon, they were confused. Nobody really knew what to do. And we start to hear again the security coming towards the camping area and telling us to evacuate immediately. So some people were dealing with folding up all the camping gear. we've decided just to go for our backpacks with our personal items and to make an escape. On that moment, I've made a phone call. I've called Adir, which was supposed to arrive upon that approximate hour, and I just wanted to make sure he's okay because now we are under a rocket attack from Gaza, and he's supposed to be very close. He told me that he found a shelter and that he's safe. Although I've heard his wife panicking, but that's kind of something that I'm used to hear from her. She never got. Anyone can get used to being under rocket attack in the recent 20 years, but some of us did, and she haven't. Anyway, the next video I'm going to show you, you possibly be able to hear more of the sound of the rockets and the interceptions as we are making the walk to the vehicle. Focus on the sky where you would see some smoke and trails, smoke trails of interceptions.
תראה, תראה.
הכי רחוק ממך בעולם, בואי.
זה רחוק שנות אור. זה רחוק 1000 שנות אור. לא נפחד.
בוא נמתין. אלון צריך לברוח לפה, אלון.
שואו. אחי, רסיסים יכולים ליפול עלינו.
לא יודע מה לעשות,
בוא לאוטו.
איפה?
וגם אחי, תוציא את האוטו ומה...
All right. So now we've arrived to the parking space. We are by our vehicle, and most people were kind of nonchalant. They were not on the run. None of us was really running, because we've been in this situation. We know that the rockets are not like, there are not much chances you will be hit by a rocket, although we are very close to Gaza. And one hit in such a crowded place will make a lot of damage. But this is not what you think about. You never think like, you're not the organizer of the festival. So we thought about ourselves. And my mindset was, let me go home, let me be with my family. We find my vehicle quite easily, although there are tons of cars there. And mine is just a black Subaru, not very unique in style. Still, it was easy to find because I made sure to park under a tree when we arrived, which looked obscure to my friends, but I don't know, that's a decision I've made upon arrival. So finding the vehicle was quite easy. What was not easy is to open the vehicle. So, you know, it's with a remote, and the remote is not functioning, it's not working because, and I know why, I know that I did not replace the battery in the recent, since I bought the vehicle. It's 3 years old now. So, yeah. It's not opening. I'm using the mechanical key and opening the car, but it's not igniting because it still needs the remote to be active. And few attempts, and it's not doing anything. My friends are just behind the car taking videos. They never even put the gear inside because they know that the car is not working now. This delay may have saved our life, and I will explain why a bit later. Anyway, after approximately 5 or 10 minutes, it's already 7 a.m. while since the music stopped, it was 6:30 a.m. Now it's almost 7, and maybe a bit before. And we make our the car is starting, and I'm starting the run. So I will go back to the satellite view Google Maps. The distance from Gaza here is, I believe, in the area of possibly 2, maybe 3 miles. The red line you see is the road that I took from the parking space about here where it says Nova Music Festival. And I had to take a bit off-road. So all the way to this white line here, it was off-road. Not too much, but still it was bumpy. And I have a 4-wheel drive, fortunately enough. And then I've merged into the white line, which I've colored in red. It's a gravel road. It's very easy to drive up. But here we see the intersection of the gravel with the road number 232, between Kibbutz Be'eri. Later, we learned that Be'eri lost 50% of its community, and Kibbutz Reim, actually, we don't have much information about what happened in Reim. The way out to the road was very busy. There was a line of cars here, which became like a traffic jam of people trying to evacuate, because this is the way in and way out, at least the one that we've used to come in. And I had to, again, use some off-road skills, and arriving to the intersection, there was a police here in advance. The police was securing the territory as it's a big festival, so they did not let us to drive back home, which is northwest. Instead, we started the drive towards east. That's the yellow line you see. So about 0.4 miles off-road. And now the time is approximately 7:05. By 7:10, we are already on this road, the yellow line you see. I don't know what to call it, but I've decided to drive northeast. I know that Gaza is located southwest, so I'm going the opposite direction to escape missiles. And we start to see a lot of smoke on the surrounding area, which later we learned that it was the many settlements, the many localities that had been burned down by the terrorists, but we didn't know that while we were on the road. Approximately here, after passing, taking the turn and passing Kibbutz Reim, we do two things are happening. First, we are calling Shiraz, which is Adir's wife. She was with him in the car. We know that they are hiding. She tells us that they are in Mefalsim and that are shootings. She used the Hebrew verb yiriyot, which can be translated to also shootings of rockets, not necessarily shooting from guns, but we later learned that what happened to them. And that's it. The call was cut. That's about 7:10. As we are driving next to those beautiful, dry, harvested wheat fields, we see on the road a lot of pieces of glass. And second after, we see a white Savannah, GMC Savannah. It's a truck I'm pretty sure you're familiar with as Americans. It's a GMC. But all the windows are shattered, everything is destroyed, and the car is on the side of the road, so it's on the field. And we wonder what happened to it. The first thought I had was maybe a rocket had hit this car. And second after, a friend of mine, like Alon, is sitting in the back and telling, I saw a body over there. Remember that my car did not start on time. I could be in the situation of that Savannah if I would head out from the festival a few minutes earlier. That I learned later because the car and some reporter from the news, from Ynet, I believe, he checked that car and he saw that this car was definitely in the festival. There was a lot of alcohol in the back of the vehicle. Anyway, we use these yellow routes to take us forward to a place which is called Urim. Urim is a kibbutz, and there is a gas station close to the kibbutz area. This drive is about 8 miles long. The escape from the festival took us possibly 13, 14 minutes. Upon arrival, and I'm sorry that I don't have a better picture for this, but I would do that, but I can't really go back there. So we've parked the car here where the yellow and purple line are meeting, and my friends didn't understand why I'm stopping, and I told them, listen, there is a building, let's hide by this building. So we have here, this is a shelter, that's a bomb shelter, and unit. I will show you a picture of a similar one later. We have here a gas station, that's the big shade here, and over here, the big building is a coffee place, Aroma Coffee, and there is also a kiosk attached to it. So there is a building of one level, but that's a place that is a potentially good hiding place. Upon arriving, we've opened the doors, we evacuated from the car, As we made a run, people told us, duck down, there is a terrorist here. The next thing that happened is we heard shootings from what sound like a machine gun. So now things became more serious to us. We are not fleeing away from rockets only, but we are actually engaged with a possible terrorist. I was here, really here on my, I have actually better pictures of that. I was here on my knees, where I will use this picture. This is from the security cam of the place we were hiding. I've received these pictures just last week and added them to this presentation. You can see people are gathering, and this picture is by the back door of the coffee place. This back door is leading to the kitchen. People here were from two main reasons. Some of them were escaped from the festival, like us, and the other group were people who came to make a Shabbat morning mountain bike ride in the territory of this beautiful area. There was one policeman here, and one of the bike riders also had a gun, and we were secured by only two pistols, basically. As we arrived and I heard the shootings, and we know that there is a terrorist somewhere over there, maybe under a car, maybe he's hiding under the bomb shelter, which we see here on the top of the view. I've prayed for my life. I've actually, it was not just praying. I've said goodbye. I was realizing that my end is just here somewhere. I will receive a hit from a bullet, and that's it. And I told the friends of mine that were just next to me that if they survive this, they should tell my family that I love them, and they should proceed without me. And that's it. Like, I've said goodbye as much as I can in this terrifying moment. I do want to share with you a few other pictures from the security cameras. We've then proceeded in. So this is the kitchen. This is the Aroma Coffee Place kitchen. I'm standing over there. And that's the outdoors. This is the bomb shelter, by the way. This bomb shelter has a door, has a window, a steel door and a steel window, but not all of them are like that. The reason we have a bomb shelter like that is the direct rocket attacks that this territory are under. I think once every 2 years is the statistics. We've stayed in this place for like almost 2 hours. When what happened next was we've came in and out from the kitchen because there was not enough air. We were approximately 40 or 50 people hiding in the kitchen, another 40 or 50 are hiding in a bomb shelter. As myself, I wanted to get some fresh air. We've opened the door from time to time. We realized that terrorist is not really there. The shooting have arrived from elsewhere. Till this day, I don't know what was the source of the shooting. Possibly one of those pickup trucks we started to receive videos of, maybe from the paragliders. I really don't know where from. I'm starting to summarize my story, and then maybe I'll take 5 more minutes to share about what was the unfortunate destiny of my friends. So from here, after being here for almost 2 hours, we saw one soldier who was with a bullet hit behind his knee, and he was really confused. Then came a group of Bedouin soldiers, trackers from the IDF, Bedouins who serve in the IDF, and they told us that it's not safe to stay here, and we should resume our escape drive towards Selim. So I'm going to share that with you now. Selim is the purple line that you see here. Now this, oh, sorry, I did not share yet. Selim is the purple line you will see on your screen now. From Urim, from this gas station, Aroma Coffee Place, we took another almost 9 miles drive. We had to cross the Besor stream I showed you earlier. This drive was even more, in this drive I was more freaked out because the previous one I was escaping from missiles and rockets, and chances them to hit me are not too high. But now our friends are not answering us. We know that terrorists are invaded the entire territory. They've arrived, for example, to this town, to Ofakim, and they were also in some of the places you see here near Oz was unfortunately heavily targeted as well. So terrorists are all around us, and they can come for our vehicle very soon as well. On the drive, we saw like the road was not really stable as rockets have hit the road in several places, so we had to drive through the pit holes. Eventually, we were
all these pictures and videos of the largest Jewish gathering demonstration ever in the history of America. Jews from all over the United
Okay. This is Tzelim. Tzelim is a kibbutz. In the kibbutz, they were hosting us. They gave us water, food, and we've been there for a few more hours. And still, we started to see an army engaging. We started to see helicopters. We started to hear about the massacre at the festival, about the invasions to the many settlements. We start to engage more with the news. I've made a decision not to go on Telegram, not to see all the atrocities that Hamas was publishing, as I knew it will hurt myself. From here, around 4 p.m. already, they told us, the people in the kibbutz, the Kitat Konenut, the kibbutz security, they told us that we should take the safest route home, which is through the midst of the desert, to go to the center of the desert to Mashabei Sadeh, and then even further towards Beersheba, and then home. I've arrived home approximately 6 p.m., I believe it was, and it was really exciting to see my family again. That was the reason that I think I've made all the decisions to hurry up and escape as soon as possible. Unfortunately, to many others, it was not the same situation. Some people I heard have stayed in the festival territory just waiting for, how would I put it? The substances that they've consumed in the festival to be over, so they would be safer to use the roads and the vehicle and to drive safely home. I'm not saying all the participants of the festival have done drugs, but some of them did, and that definitely affected the numbers, I believe, that had been murdered on the festival territory. I just want to share with you about my friends. So this is Adir. This is Shiraz. They were married. This is Celine. Adir is a friend of mine, I think, since I was in high school. He was not in my high school, but he was a mutual friend of other friends from my neighborhood. We live in the same city. We are in the same exact age. He just celebrated 40 on September 7th. He was married to Shiraz for 11 years. Their marriage anniversary, unfortunately, was on on the Memorial Day. For them, the 30th, the month Shloshim, Memorial Day, that was just this Sunday, the 28th of Cheshvan. They had two daughters. They have two daughters, Goshen, she's 10 years old, and Gili, she's 8 years old. I'll soon show you their pictures. And Celine was the colleague of Shiraz. Shiraz was working for a lawyer's firm, Celine as well, and they were colleagues, and this is how they've met. They've been friends, I think, for the recent almost 6 years or so, and Celine was always accompanying Shiraz to festivals and parties we've attended. The music was our life passion for all of us. Adir was working as a electrician, as a handyman, but also he was a guide for a baby swim. Shiraz was a watsu, a water therapist for people in different age groups and people with disabilities. So both of them really, really liked and loved the water. Me and Adir are going together since the recent 20 years as very good friends. And we even have children in the same ages. So that strengthened and our relationship. Our daughters, our 10 years old going to the same school, same classes. Our 8 years old are going to the same school and same classes. We are together, we do everything together, we go on vacations together, to trips, and definitely when they go to the sea or to the beach, they invite us because they really, really loved the water. So quickly about what happened to them. Adir and Shiraz and Celine were on their way, and they were stopping here at Mefalsim. Mefalsim, the distance from the Gaza is like 1.10 miles. That's the distance, that's the border. This is Mefalsim. They stopped in this intersection under this tree. There is a shelter. There was a bomb shelter. I don't know why I cannot show you the picture of the bomb shelter. Maybe no. I had one. Anyways, it disappeared. The bomb shelter is basically a concrete building. Sometimes it has a steel door. Most of them does not. And this is where they were hiding. Unfortunately, those bomb shelters that's supposed to protect people from rocket attacks were a death trap for many, as many have found an asylum with those bomb shelters they found on the roads while they were escaping. And the terrorists in all of those bomb shelters, it was the same thing. They were throwing grenades in, and anyone who walked out was killed by a gun, an AK-47 usually, on a blank position. And that's what happened to my friends. Adir walked out, he didn't have enough air to breathe, and they've killed him on the spot, and then they've shot grenades inside, and they've killed Shiraz. Celine and another person that was there, they were both severely injured. We don't know what they died from, but another person that was there, his name is Raz, he gave us, he survived. He was severely injured as well, but he made his way out, and he told the family the story. Actually, we've tracked him after maybe less than 48 hours. We found this person. He shared the story with the family. The family did not confirm the death of their loved ones until the day that the body of Adir was found. And a few days after also Shiraz, and then a few hours after also Celine. We had hopes they were kidnapped or they escaped in the first few hours, but the result is devastating for all of us. They left behind daughters that I've promised to do everything I can to protect and to promise their future as much as close to what their parents had planned for them. Today, those kids are in the guardians, the temporary guardians are their uncle, Adir's oldest brother, who has children in similar ages, more or less. We don't know if they would be the permanent guardians. Anyways, the only thing that I can do right now is to try and promise a future for them, at least on the financial side, so they would not have to worry about money. Then this is why I've created the GoFundMe page. So you can. This is a picture I took myself in one of our trips to. This was to Zichron Yaakov, to the Rothschild's gardens in Zichron Yaakov. I'm sorry, but this is where I'm getting emotional. Listen, this is the family we were the most close to. Those daughters, they are like my daughters. Adi always told his daughters that if they have a fight with my daughters, it's not just a typical fight among friends. It's a fight inside the family, and they should resolve it. He told them that my daughters are their sisters. This is how close was the relationship with Adir and Shiraz. They were such good people. They were peaceful. They never cared about wars or territory. They just wanted to live life. They wanted to spend as much time as possible in the ocean, sometimes in the ocean, because we flow over to India to be in the ocean, but mostly in our small Mediterranean Sea. And yeah, this is the GoFundMe page we've put up for them. The target here does not mean anything. It was just we've made it very quickly, with understanding that people care more in the very first week, but people lose interest in what's happening in Israel, and also we know how narratives are changing and people change their mind, and so they are not responsible to what happened. They are not responsible for the war. It's not a political thing. It's just children that I don't want to call them poor children, because I would not let them to be poor children. And this is where I'm requesting the help of others by donating. If anyone here is able to do a more permanent contribution, we would appreciate that. Someone maybe to support them for at least until they get to an adulter life. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the people in this meeting, and I'm just suggesting ideas. I will request to share this link. I would also do one more thing. There is a QR code now shared on the screen, so you can just take a picture of it and share it on your social media if it's easier for you. The link for the website was also shared here on the chat, and that's my story. I'm happy, very, very grateful to be alive. I'm stopping the share now, so I'll give you maybe 10 more seconds if anyone would still need to take the picture from your screen. Grateful to be alive, dealing with a lot, taking a lot of therapy for myself, for my family. Maybe I'm sound normal to you right now, maybe to Yulia, who knows me before, but definitely I'm not the same person. So I'd like to thank you all for being here and hearing my story. I'm proud to be an Israeli. I'm proud to be Jewish. I'm just not happy with what's happening to us Jews all over the world and the rise of anti-Semitism. I don't know if there is a chance for Q&As. It's up to you, but I'm handing back to you, Yulia, or anyone else who is hosting the meeting.
Amit, toda rabba. Thank you very much. I deeply appreciate it. I don't know how do you do it. I don't think I would be able to. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you for your compelling story. I just wanted to confirm on chat that the GoFundMe address is correct, because the one that's on chat is different than the one that was shown in this prior slide. So if you can confirm the one that's there is good. It ends in 701.
Yes, it's the same thing. It's just a longer...
yeah, Steve, because what you put in there is not a link. So I put the entire link so people can just click on it in the chat and go straight to the site.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna
I
break it.
just okay, it
I
does
will
work.
reshare it as a link, but it's a
Yeah,
shorter.
it works. It works. I tested it.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. Okay, we've been responsible. So thank you, and we are grateful to have you alive, and your children as well. There are usually questions on chat. At this moment, I don't really see questions, but maybe they will pop out. I see that you're sharing a screen of
Thanks, Amit.
the death of who is sharing that? Amit?
Amit, are you sharing this?
No,
That's
it's
If
on my
somebody else
screen.
is sharing your screen, it actually
It's Carol and Barry.
Carol? Carol,
Are you sharing your screen?
Carol's sharing her screen. Carol, if you can stop
Well,
sharing.
it is a good song. I
Yeah.
see.
Barry, are you there sharing it? I just took it away.
All right.
All right, thanks.
Well, let's open the floor for let's open the floor for general questions if anybody just wants to unmute themselves.
You have any questions?
No.
There is not much we can say after hearing that. It's just nothing to say.
All I can say is, may your friends' memories be a blessing for you.
Mhm.
Is the government giving them any kind of support?
Amen. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah. Go ahead, ask it. Yeah. Go ahead, Carol.
I have a question. Is the government giving you any support? Not necessarily financial, but psychological comfort, something.
Yes, but I'm receiving a way better support from private civilian initiatives. So we have the government Social Security, Bituach Leumi, is offering at least free access to psychological therapy, but they limit it to 12 meetings, and I'm receiving my last one this Sunday, and that's it. I'm all by myself. What had been done by the psychedelic trance community, which is the festival, and they've opened healing centers. There are two main ones, and there are smaller ones in distant places. Over there, we are, me and the other survivors, and also the families of the survivors. We are receiving different types of therapy. For example, body therapy. We receive sound healings. We can speak with psychologists over there. There are art therapies, which I took my daughters to. So my daughters are also obviously shocked. So that works way better than what the government is offering us. Regarding financial support, they still talk about it. I myself also, as a tour guide, I'm also unemployed because of the war. So I have no income for October, November, and all the upcoming months. It's another problem that I have to deal with. So maybe they will do something, but there was not a permanent decision yet because they are still discussing how to move the money from here to there. The budget, the government budget, I mean.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, generally speaking, civil organizations are acting amazingly well. It's so impressive. I mean, what you see now behind me, harvesting crops, and the government is not really supporting. I mean, they're still discussing how much money who and how should get, and nobody got anything. In the meanwhile, I mean, 30 million shekels were provided to Bibi to fix his house, but nobody is getting any funds from the government yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for a riot. Ugh.
Okay, guys, we have this sad silence. So, Steve, would you like to add anything? Lana, Pamela, anybody? Because if nobody has anything to say, so we may wish good night to Amit.
I think the silence is reverence.
Could I say something?
Of course.
I know that, we hear about wars all over the world and everything, and we go, oh, that's sad, that's too bad. But when it's people you know and people you meet, and they have families and you have friends in Israel, and it makes it a whole different thing. I feel sad for the people in Ukraine, but when it's close to you, it's a lot worse to deal with. And I can't even imagine, Amit, what you're dealing with. It's just unbelievable. I'm sorry.
Julia, you see people are offering they want to donate to Amit himself. Oh, Amit, you put the GoFundMe. Okay.
I'm really, guys, I appreciate you all for wanting to give for myself. I will be okay. I will go back to work someday. Maybe I will do like Julia and start to work in agriculture. My main focus now, and the reason I'm doing those sessions, is to support the orphans as much as I can, while I still can, while I have the time. And also, I don't know if it's okay, Julia, if anyone would like to communicate with me later, so you can share my email with them, and also my phone. I don't know if anyone would like to talk later. That's okay. I'll be happy to do that. So if you want, you can give them my email and my phone number. Julia has the details, and I would be more than happy for you to share. Sorry, I would be more than happy for you to share the link to people that you know and you think they would be interested to give for the orphans. And moreover, if anyone would like to have me as a speaker to their own community to do this presentation again, I would be more than happy, given if you will give also the permission to share the donation part of it. That's the reason I'm doing that.
Amit, if we could get your email and information, we can give it to everyone in the group, and that way if they have a congregation he can speak at, or a women's group, or
I would
anything.
leave it to Julia to hand you over with my email and phone.
I just placed Amit's phone number in the chat and your email. Maybe you can do it, Amit, because I don't remember it by heart, and instead of me looking for it, can you just put it on chat?
Yes.
Yeah, of course, everybody is welcome to contact.
Yeah.
How are the girls dealing with the death of their parents?
I can't really tell, although I get to meet them at least once or twice a week, specifically when picking up my own daughters from school, when there is school. It's not that there is school every day. It's hard to tell how they are coping with it. I don't speak about it actually with them, not even with my own daughters. It's scary to speak about it for myself. I don't know what reaction to expect, so I'm not opening this subject. And this is why I'm looking for a therapist for my family. That would be the next step. Like, I'm already processing, I'm in the healing process. Now I think it's the time to allow my entire family to be dealing with the therapy. The girls of my friends, they are starting therapy, I think, this Sunday. Also, because of government bureaucracy, they had not received any therapy so far, which is very unfortunate. Very unfortunate, and it's just bureaucracy had not allowed them access to therapy. Crazy.
Awful.
This is Gail. I hear all the funds that are going from the JNF to from Friends of the IDF and so on to the reserves and to the IDF. But I understand the aid coalition organizations are giving for the home front, and you say you haven't gotten anything from brothers and sisters from those groups at all?
So I'm sorry, I missed the question if it was for me.
I said you haven't gotten any monies or encouragement or information from those groups that are in the aid coalition?
No, no, and not even them as much as I know. This is why I'm doing the GoFundMe, because I don't trust anyone. I don't trust any funds. I don't trust. I've called so many, I've reached out to many organizations, even ones that are supporting, like there is an organization that supports the families of victims of terror, and they could not offer anything, at least on the financial side. So I don't want to trust anything that is an NGO, a GO,
Right.
because I know how things are working. I know that there is a spillage of money sometimes that people are donating and goes to other places. I know that you're a group that is highly engaged with Israel and that you're volunteers and everything, and that's a blessing. But sometimes, I don't want to go into politics and to speak about how politics works in Israel. It's beyond what I can deal with so far. So, but maybe you can read between the lines of what I've just said, and this is why I'm preferring to do a private initiative and not to trust on anyone, just a direct engagement of people who want to help private people. Although any volunteering, any work that you do for Israel and for the Jewish nation, even in the diaspora, is a blessing, because we have to be united. We have to stay together. And my personal feeling is that no one is protecting us.
You can also post this GoFundMe link on your social media account. Share it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this sounds discouraging. This sounds very, very discouraging. That that the money is not coming from organizations down to ordinary people. So I'm glad that you've put this GoFundMe page here. At least we can do that. We have one other member in our group who also has a private group where she's providing materials and so on to service. So this is good to have this, because I've been wondering how to work with people who are on the home front like yourself, just ordinary people. So thank you so much for sharing your message today, your presentation, and setting up this GoFund account. I know it's not always easy to do these kinds of paperwork things right now. So thank you for doing it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, if there are no,
I have to leave. So thank you so much for the presentation, and I can't stay for the schmoozing today. Take care, everyone. Have a good week.
Bye, Gail.
Bye-bye.
Well, if there are no further questions, I'd ask Julia to do a wrap, and then we'll enter into our usual schmooze, which can last for hours. You're all welcome to stick around. Julia?
With your permission, I'm saying goodbye. Thank you, everybody, for having me and for hearing my story. And looking forward to see you in Israel in more peaceful days. Thank you very much, Julia, for inviting me and to allow me to share here. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Stay safe. Israel is protecting you. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Take care.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you very
down
much.
the road when it comes down. Amit, תודה רבה. Bye.
תודה רבה.
Can anybody understand why my poem was on the screen? I don't know what I did. It's in my documents. I wrote it when Rabin was murdered. It's certainly applicable today.
So,
So
Well, let's see.
whatever reason, it was appropriate.
We're in schmooze mode now, and I can't imagine that we've had as compelling and as touching a presentation in the 201 prior presentations as this one. This one hit a very personal mark directly on, and I really appreciate, Julia, you making the arrangements to have Amit join with us today. That was really special. And so
Sure.
many thanks to Julia. Next week.
I'm glad to help, and thank you, Steve, for keeping this alive, the whole thing here for 202 episodes. And I'm also happy to provide this opportunity for me to do some fundraising. And I know it sounds impossible, it sounds unreal, it sounds ridiculous, whatever, whatever term you'd like to use. But these people, we're looking at over 70,000 people evacuated from the surroundings of Gaza and the Lebanese border, and people who were not physically, but emotionally wounded during the war. And the government still doesn't support them financially. So every single T-shirt, every single book, every single, you name it, like underwear, is provided by private organizations, NGOs like Brothers in Arms, and the government is still dealing with the coalition money. So a couple of days ago, somebody wrote in the news, I don't remember who that was, that this is the worst hour of Israel, but in a way, it's also the best, because for so many years, we didn't see ourselves so united, so much supportive, so much helping, so much, I can't explain how much people are helping each other and how easy, like this olive harvest was announced yesterday evening. They were looking for people to come and harvest because no Thai people and no Palestinians were usually employed at this farm. And so by, 5, 6 p.m. yesterday, maybe it was, announced on several WhatsApp groups. And this morning, 7 a.m., they had 150 volunteers. And we are talking about a remote farm near Gaza Strip, and people came, some people unemployed like myself, some people are retired, some people are just took a day off. And within 4 hours, we were done harvesting. So we had lunch and, we just continued our business. So I really hope the government will catch up at some point. So we will survive, but it's no easy.
At what cost?
What were you harvesting?
I lost $800 a kid.
Yeah.
These are all
Nelson Mellis.
They're what? What did you harvest?
You're harvesting olives.
These are olives.
Olives.
Yeah, different kinds of olives. And again, the situation is so complicated because the owner of the farm, he is well, I don't know the ranks. Anyway, he is a high rank officer now in reserves, now in Gaza. His son is, he has his graduation ceremony to become an officer near Mitzvah Ramon, and the father could not participate in the ceremony because he is in Gaza. Now the mother was left alone at the farm, no time, no Palestinians. And, we were talking to her and she said, well, I wish I could have my Palestinian workers because they're great people. They are working with us for many years. I cannot maintain this farm without them for obvious reasons. They don't have a working permit now ever since October 7th, which means that they have no income, which means that we are at the edge of an explosion at the West Bank, because, you know, how long can you have people not working, not supporting their families? And I don't know, but you probably heard of a terror attack which took place today at one of the checkpoints just south of Jerusalem. Terrorists coming from Hebron. So anyway, we have so many questions and we have no answers. And in the meanwhile, you know, whoever is unemployed is trying to help others left with no workers. So tomorrow I will be dealing with some leaves. Not sure which leaves, something which is normally added to salads in a community near where I live. So I will have a new photo next time.
The same. Julia?
Mm-hmm.
The people who don't live in Israel, volunteers, where do they stay at night?
Well, this is an issue because most places who need workers, they don't have accommodation. So people, I mean, a few farmers will provide accommodation, but most people will just stay in, you know, Airbnbs, hostels, places like that, not on military bases, as Ilana said before. So accommodation is an issue. So we don't really have that many volunteers from overseas. And also things are very unpredictable, because like this lady today, she did not expect so many volunteers to come. So she announced that she will need volunteers for today and for tomorrow. And then by noon, you know, we were done. So she canceled the volunteers, which were about to volunteer tomorrow, which is fine with Israelis, but for foreigners, obviously it's way more complicated. So for instance, we have an organization which is called Leket Israel, which is Food Saving Fund or something. So I talked to them, and they provide no accommodation whatsoever. They provide no transportation whatsoever. So we have WhatsApp groups, and so usually you can find a lift, but it's nothing you can really rely on.
Mm-hmm.
So it is complicated for foreigners.
This is how VFI started in '82 with General Davidi.
Yeah.
So we come over and help with the crops. That's exactly, time repeats.
But they stayed on kibbutzim though.
Yeah, we stayed on kibbutz.
Exactly, but right. But you know, back then the kibbutzim were much more kibbutz-like compared to today. So today, since there are no volunteers on a kibbutz, there's no available accommodation on a kibbutz. Now, lots of kibbutzim, as you probably know, they have like kibbutz-style accommodation, small hotels, things like that. But these are now occupied by people evacuated from either south or north. Mm-hmm. So there's literally almost no available accommodation on kibbutzim. Mm. Okay, so that's the issue. And now the kibbutzim, which really needs support primarily, are the kibbutzim along the Lebanese border, because the people are evacuated, and only, you know, whoever is responsible for the crops is there during the harvest time. So most kibbutzim, they're getting a daily harvest permit. That permit is normally from 6 a.m. or 5:30 a.m. till 11 a.m. That's it. And then you have to leave, because that's when, I don't know why, but somehow Hezbollah is usually shooting towards Israel after 11:30 or so. So then you cannot stay longer, so there's no accommodation there, so you have to drive. Anyway, it's difficult, just logistically.
Somebody has to organize the communities to open their houses. I'm sure it can be done.
Which community? Just any community?
Any communities that are taking in people who've been displaced. They shouldn't be left out in the cold.
No, they're not left out in the cold. I mean, every community which is evacuated, is evacuated to a certain place, and then that's something the government does responsible for. I mean, a community like Kibbutz Be'eri, which Amit mentioned. So Kibbutz Be'eri was evacuated as a community. The entire Kibbutz Be'eri is now located in a few hotels in a lot. Okay, so the whole community stays together. On top of that, many communities are not evacuated, like especially larger cities, like the city of Ashkelon. Okay, city of Ashkelon is a large city which is not evacuated, and I don't think there is a technical way to evacuate entire Ashkelon. But you know, they had so many missiles and so many people, their homes were either ruined or damaged. Now, if the house is really damaged, so then the government will evacuate them. And the government started paying 200 shekels per adult per day if you want to find your own accommodation. So then people, you know, they do Airbnbs or sublet or stuff like that. But so many people feel like they can't make it anymore, like they cannot survive this constant bombing and constant alarm. So they go away, they leave their homes, but they have the government doesn't pay them. So they have to find free accommodation. Lots of families there are religious families. So we're looking at families where 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 kids. Okay, these are real examples. Now, where do you find a free accommodation for a family of 14 people? And that's, again, it's all made by private people who volunteer their houses, I mean, it has nothing to do with the government. But the result is that there is very little free accommodation available. Yeah. But nobody is just, they're not homeless.
Carol, this is Bev, but just to that point, so many ordinary Israelis are taking in people who've been evacuated that I know some of my volunteers who were supposed to stay with family and friends on the weekend off the base can't because their family had taken in other Israelis and don't have room for them anymore on the weekend. So a lot of Israelis have stepped up and opened their homes to people who have been evacuated.
Yes, that's true. And so many houses are empty for this or other reason. And some of the newest projects, which are just, finished and not populated yet. So these empty houses are given for free for people who escaped their houses, but then these apartments are empty. So then people from all over Israel donate, and, we have hundreds of people driving sofas, chairs, tables, beds, mattresses around to help these people to have at least, a few days, a few weeks of rest. So again, what was Am Yisrael Chai, for sure.
Julia, are the stores open in Israel, like where you can buy food and things like that? I mean,
yeah, stores are open. Well, it depends where. I mean, if we are talking about the communities which were evacuated, so obviously no. I mean, if the community is evacuated, so that's it. But if the community was not officially evacuated, so the stores are open. The closer you get to Gaza Strip or to the Lebanese border, so less shops will be open. So like the grocery stores, the supermarkets, the pharmacies are always open. But, like restaurants or clothing shops will be closed. Where I live, which is halfway between Tel Aviv and Haifa, where it's safe, so everything is open, restaurants, cafes, everything is open normally, and further north into Haifa. So it depends where, but you can always find food and drugs. Sarah Malka and Larry raised hand. Was it intentionally?
Yes, it was. I do have a question, and I may be outdated in my thinking, but if a donation is made from an American currency bank account or whatever, is there going to be a fee on the receiving end in it to whoever it's going to in Israel for them to receive foreign currency, or in this day and age, is that all not an issue anymore?
Well, it is an issue, but I cannot tell you because it depends on the bank account you have. Because if I suppose I have a shekel bank account, Israeli currency bank account, and you are sending dollars to me, so then it will be automatically converted to shekels, and then I have the exchange rate which I have to pay. On the other hand, if I have a foreign currency account and then you are sending dollars to it, so that's fine. So then there is no exchange rate. So I don't know. It depends on the type of a bank account.
There are some credit cards where there's no exchange rate conversion cost.
You. I just looked at Amit's GoFundMe page, and they're charging a 16% fee.
Yeah, I'm not concerned from my end as I am. I don't want the person receiving it to have to pay. So is there any means, is there a fee on the receiving end, or is there any means to know that up front, to pay it up front?
No, there's no way, because it really depends on your bank or your bank account, on your agreement with your bank and how much money you have there. I mean, it's unpredictable. There will be some fee for the receiver to pay, but there's no way, neither you or him can tell in advance. I mean, it's something which must be checked specifically. So you just, you donate as much as you want, and then some of it will go to the government. That's how it is.
And it can be done by bank account or credit card or whatever? Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you will be celebrating Thanksgiving next week, which is wonderful, and I hope you all have plenty to thank for, and we have things to thank for as well, like you. So,
Julia, that was the thing. That was the thing I was supposed to say that Steve forgot that he was supposed to remind me to say. That next week we'll be having Thanksgiving, and we won't be having a schmooze or any speaker. Thanks, Julia.
You are most welcome. So happy Thanksgiving and happy weekend, Shabbat Shalom, and be safe. Yeah. Okay, I have a direct question, but I will make a non-direct answer. Is there a fund for unemployed guides? Well, there is no fund, but in a way, you are the fund. I mean, hopefully at some point, things will get back to normal, and then you're welcome to come to Israel and be our tourists. I mean, so.
I have a comment, Julia, about going back to this business or currency transfer to Israel. I know that you use, what is it called, PayPal. So PayPal converts currency, I know, for instance, to euros. I don't know, to shekels. I can find out. But PayPal is good because, for instance, if I want to send the contribution to Amir, I could send it possibly in dollars, US dollars, or something else. I don't know. I'll have to find out from PayPal. But that's easy, because I have an account with them. That's all I want to say. There are many ways, in essence, to transfer money.
Pamela, I want to say something to Pamela. You listening, Pamela? I love the letter that you wrote yesterday, and I had a board meeting at the temple last night, and usually at the end they'll go around and somebody says, oh, my grandkid had a birthday or something nice. And I told them, well, I have something I want to read. So I read your letter, and they were most appreciative of all that you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you, Valerie.
Yeah. They were all wanting to leave. It was a long meeting. And they all wanted, I said, nope. They said, oh, we're not going to do our little schmooze at the end. And I said, nope, you got to wait 2 minutes. I'm going to read this. So it was, yeah.
Yeah, Pamela, your note did capture the reality and the realistic view of things. And I did pass it through my synagogue as well. Thank you.
Good, yeah. Well, because it makes it real. It makes it real.
You want to go? Let Julia go to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I do want to go to sleep because I woke up 5:30 a.m. today to do this harvest.
That's what I was going to say. Julia's a farmer now. Farmers have to go to sleep early.
I will be doing.
So now we have to buy Israeli olives. We can't buy Greek olives.
I already do.
They're the best.
Did you get to take some olives home?
Well, then this kind of olives is for olive oil making.
Oil.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't have a press, and so no, I didn't bother. But I did bring some kiwis and some flowers and some what else? Oh, and cherry tomatoes. Yeah, so actually you have to choose what you pick and to do the more delicious stuff. That's something I have to work on.
So you can eat it while you work.
Of course, yeah. You eat as much as you can, and then in the end of the work, you can also take a basket or a something. Actually, I brought some beautiful flowers from 2 days ago. So, okay, Thanksgiving, and maybe by the time we see each other again in 2 weeks from now, it'll be over. Who knows?
Julia, can you give me a call when you get around to it? No. And Lila Tov.
Lila Tov. And thank you all for coming, Sharon. It's good to see you, Sharon. I did not see you since we met in Israel. Lila Tov. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.